The ancient weapons came under scrutiny because of the revelation of Vegapunk in the recent chapter. Well, they were always kind of relevant because they pose enormous threat to the world, especially now more than ever, since Blackbeard is past to be aware of their locations. The ancient shipwrights of Water 7 kept in mind the possibility of Pluton or any of the ancient weapons falling into the wrong hand. So they created a blueprint of a machine or weapon that could counter the ancient weapons when the time comes. The kind of development we're seeing in the story, Blackbeard is definitely going to get an ancient weapons to flex his muscle to terrorize the world. Even though Blackbeard possibly knows the location of Pluton, actually, I'm not worried about Wano country at all. The former shogun of Wano country, Kozuki Sukiyaki, told that the ancient weapon Pluton is in slumber somewhere deep in Wano. If they need to get it or awaken it, they need Junesha. And Junesha is not something Blackbeard can handle. I mean, Junesha is 35 kilometers in size. Can you imagine Blackbeard defeating that thing when it is fully awake and powerful? Blackbeard is a very cautious character. He's not going to take any chances. He carefully crafted each and every move since he was a child. He joined Whitebeard's crew so that he can have a better chance to get his hand on Yami Yami no Mi. He also had his eyes on Whitebeard's devil fruit power. He defeated Ace and handed him over to the Marines so that he can join the ranks of the Shichibukai and make a trip to Impel Down. His goal was to recruit the most notorious prisoners of level 6. He knew Whitebeard will go to war with the Marines to save Ace. He knew Whitebeard's health conditions better than the Marines. Once he goes into war with the Marines, he would die in the battlefield. He would use this opportunity to steal Gura Gura no Mi's ability, and it exactly turned out the way he plotted. When the government abolished the Shichibukai system, he wanted to steal Boa Hancock's Meru Meru no Mi's power. There's something more to this devil food than we know of. I think Boa Hancock is also not aware of this. Blackbeard has been eyeing for her devil fruit for a long time. He knows the specifics. Furthermore, Amazon Lily might have some connection to Nefertiti Lily. I mean, take a look at the symbol of the ancient residents of the moon. They're very similar, especially the serpent part. In order to get his hand on this devil fruit, Blackbeard took the chances of the marine forces spreading thin due to going after multiple Shichibukai at the same time. Furthermore, 3 Yonko, well, you could say 4 if you count in Shanks, doing the things at Wano also kept the government in tenterhooks. So Blackbeard's plan went smoothly when he made a trip to Amazon Lily. He expected a marine fleet coming after Hancock. What he didn't expect, though, the arrival of Silver's Rayleigh. Furthermore, Hancock's devil fruit ability took him by surprise. Things went out of his expectation. He had to compromise and give in to Rayleigh's demands. But Blackbeard is not a character who take a loss. He wanted to take the Marines hostage to force the government to recognize Hashinosu Pirate Island a kingdom and him as the legitimate ruler of the land. His goal was to go to Marijoa and enter into the residential district of Tenryubito. Wait a minute, shouldn't it be the Pangaea Castle? I mean, Imu lives there and so are the Gorosei. Well, technically it should be the Pangaea Castle, but do you remember who chased Doflamingo when he returned to Marijoa with his father's head? It was not the Gorosei, neither was the Marines. It was the Celestial Dragons. We didn't see ordinary Celestial Dragons at Pangaea Castle. We only see them at the residential district of the Celestial Dragons. Furthermore, this area is in supervision of the God's Knight. When Imu wanted to use the ancient weapon's power on Lulusia Kingdom, it was God's Knights who were in charge of it. They operated it and destroyed the island into oblivion. So I think the ancient weapon and the national treasure of Marijoa are in supervision of God's Knight. Both are inside the residential district of the Celestial Dragon. So Blackbeard's goal is the residential district, not the Pangaea Castle. Well, it's also possible the God's Knight came to Imu-sama and she let him test the weapon on Lulusia Kingdom. Regardless, Blackbeard's goal is either what is hidden beneath the Pangaea Castle or Tenryubito's living quarters. That's why Katarina Divan was extremely happy when she managed to touch Saturn. Disguising as Saturn, she would have more access and things will become easier to infiltrate when they make a trip to Marijoa. Now, there are lots of things things going in the Grand Line. It became extremely difficult for the government to keep tracks on every incident. The Yonko are after One Piece. The Revolutionary Army is preparing for their decisive move. Several kingdoms are not complying to pay the heavenly tributes. The defeat of Admiral Kizo, losing control over the Pacifista and Seraphims, and worst of all, Vegapunk exposing a bit of truth of the Void Century, including the sinking of the world. Blackbeard excels in fishing in troubled water. He loves chaos. Chaos brings opportunity. Blackbeard's motto is, if there is no chaos, well, make one. The bigger, the better. That's how characters like Blackbeard and Emu thrive. They get high on chaos. After Blackbeard made a futile trip to Amazon Lily, he became even more frustrated when he realized he got tricked by Kobe. Kuzan told him about a faction called Sword within the Marine. They don't have much say in the organization, so taking Kobe hostage wouldn't serve any purpose. He won't get what he wants from the government, so he tweaked his plan a little bit. Shanks has been keeping tabs on Blackbeard's every move. He knows Blackbeard's possible moves, and it was evident when Shanks went to Wano Country expecting Blackbeard to take advantage of Wano Country's chaotic situation and steal Luffy, Law, or Kid's Devil Fruit abilities, or the Poneglyph prints they had with them. Well, his prediction was correct, but he overestimated Blackbeard a bit. Blackbeard didn't come to Wano because there was a possible involvement with an admiral and possible encounter with Shanks, so he lied in ambush in one of the three routes that would lead to out of Wano's water. Trafalgar Law is a level-headed character and a critical thinker, so he took the safest road out of three options available. Blackbeard is also a critical thinker, and he doesn't want to take unnecessary risks, so Law's level-headedness was his downfall. He lost his ship, his crew, and the Poneglyph prints. He's not going to make it to Laftel. Aokiji, or Kuzan, joined Blackbeard's crew on the condition that he would help him to learn the true history of the world. Blackbeard loves history, so he set his eyes on Laftel and One Piece a long time ago. He had been after the Fourth Road Poneglyph for a while. He asked Kuzan about it. He even captured Charlotte Pudding to decipher the text on the Poneglyphs and learn about the history of the Void Century. Nefertari Lily was responsible for spreading these Poneglyphs across the Grand Line, so Blackbeard wouldn't want to miss this opportunity. I mean, Shanks is making his move and go after One Piece. Compared to the other pirates, he has the advantage. I mean, he knows the possible coordinates of Laftel. Furthermore, the Straw Hats are on a roller coaster ride to Laftel. If Blackbeard misses these opportunities, he would never be able to learn the true history of the world. He will miss the opportunity to learn more about Emu and the other leaders of the Void Century, and of course, the ancient weapons. And there is also a decisive battle he has to face against Shanks, so at the moment, he doesn't have the luxury to make a move on Poseidon or Pluton. Most of the fans of One Piece believe that Blackbeard will lose to Luffy and fail to get One Piece. Even if he gets it, it wouldn't help him because his goal is materialistic. He wants to rule the world. I think when he loses to Luffy, like a coward, he would go for cheap alternatives, getting his hand on ancient weapon and forcing the weak into submission. During this time frame, Momonosuke would open the border of Wano. Unfortunately, it will give the opportunity to someone like Blackbeard to snatch Pluton from him. He'll terrorize the innocent with Pluton. Now, one thing I want to point out. Why Luffy would destroy the Fishman Island? Does it have something to do with One Piece? I mean, the history Luffy will learn at Laftel. I think Luffy will destroy the Fishman Island because of ancient weapon Poseidon. Wait a minute, isn't Shirahoshi the Poseidon? Why would Luffy need to destroy the island when that girl is the Poseidon? Let me make one thing clear. Do you think if hundreds of Sea Kings were to join force, they can fight against Mother Flame that destroyed the Lucia Kingdom? Do they stand a chance? Can they create such devastation and create such massive hole in the ocean? The answer is obvious, isn't it? Even if thousands of Sea Kings were to join, they don't stand a chance against such power. So how is Shirahoshi going to compete against another ancient weapon? Well, the truth is simple. Luffy will teach her. And the Sea Kings are not the only thing she can control. Her absolute power stems from the thing that is buried under the Fishman Island. In order to get that thing out, Luffy must destroy the Fishman Island. It is similar to Wano and Pluton's situation. Pluton is buried under Wano, and to get it, Momonosuke need to destroy the moat that was built 800 years ago. Enel's cover story arc gives us the idea of where these ancient weapons came from. You know, after Enel lost to Luffy, he went to the moon. He found an ancient city, and inside it there were wall paintings that depict the history of a forgotten era. There are two wall paintings and both are equally important. This one looks some kind of workshop or factory. This symbol is similar to Kuja Pirate's Jolly Roger. Kuja Pirate's Jolly Roger has 9 serpents, whereas this one has 9 twirling curves. And there's also this symbol that looks like a sun. There are 9 protruding points, and each one has 3 dots, totaling 27. In the next wall painting, we have a symbol. This kinda looks like a flame to me. Is it talking about the complete version of Mother Flame? There are also 9 twirling patterns here. We've seen similar kind of patterns on Shirahoshi's father, King Neptune's arms. So probably this circle is a flying machine that needs Mother Flame as energy source. Due to what happened on Lulusia, it's more than likely this object is the ancient weapon, Uranus. There's also Poneglyph text written here. This picture suggests the home of another ancient weapon, Poseidon. These are the Sea Kings, and this symbol resembles the logo of the world government. Probably it is talking about the national treasure of Marijoa, or the thing that is buried under the Fishman Island. And finally, this might be the ancient weapon, Pluton. It needs several creatures to operate, at least 7 of them. Enel's cover story tells us the story of the people who were technologically extremely advanced. Because of the depletion of natural resources, they had to abandon Moon and immigrate to the blue planet. Probably they settled on Red Line. The people of the blue planet called them the Lunarians. They built a massive city on the Red Line. After the Void Century, the 19 kingdoms occupied their land and named it Marijoa. They not only stole their land, they stole their technologies, even the machines. Blackbeard will discover this ancient city that is buried under Pangaea Castle. We'll see the city of the Lunarians built through the lens of Blackbeard. I think Blackbeard has some kind of connection to the Lunarians. He might be a hybrid. That's why we don't see any wings on his back or silver hair. His parents might be from the remnant of the Lunarians and Ram Kingdom.